Chemical reactions. Why do chemical reactions happen? Remember from grade 9 that particles are always moving. This is referred to as the particle theory of matter. As particles collide with each other, if their orientation is right and they have enough energy, bonds will break and new bonds will form. Clues that a chemical reaction has happened. Energy is released in the form of heat, light, or sound. Bubbles of gas have been formed. A precipitate is produced. Remember that a precipitate is a solid formed when two liquids have been mixed, and sometimes a color change will occur. Law of conservation of mass. In a chemical reaction, the mass of the reactants must equal the mass of the products. The reactants are on the left-hand side of the arrow, and the products are on the right-hand side of the arrow. Chemical reactions can be expressed either as a word equation or a chemical equation. Word equations use chemical names. Chemical equations are much more complex. They involve chemical formulas, a coefficient to balance the number of atoms, remembering the conservation of mass, and also use subscripts to identify the state of the substance. Chemical reaction here represents the formation of water. The coefficient placed in front of the hydrogen gas and water is used to balance out the atoms of hydrogen and the atoms of oxygen on both the reactant and the product side. The subscript simply states the substances are in a gaseous form. Subscripts are small letters written beside the chemical formula. AQ represents aqueous, meaning the substance is dissolved in water, whereas AL represents alcohol and that the substance has been dissolved in an alcohol. To balance an equation, the easiest thing to do is write down the symbol for each element involved in the chemical reaction. Then count the number of atoms for each of those elements. That has been done with the black marker. Then use coefficients to make the number of atoms on the reactant side be the same as the number of atoms on the product side. This has been done with the blue marker.